everybody, Earl at thelogbook.com, back for more Voyages of Shelf Discovery. This is the one you've been waiting for. And those of you who know me know I am a super fan of the 1979 Disney film, The Black Hole. Especially with regards to its famous floaty robot buddies, which I have tried very hard over the years to turn that into a proper hashtag, and it just never seems to catch on. But I'm not going to stop trying, because here we are talking about various forms of the robots from the black hole down through the years. Now, what you see here are a couple of specimens of Vincent and Maximilian from the original 1979 Mego action figure line, which had roughly the same scale, style, points of articulation as their toy line from Buck Rogers in the 25th Century that came out that year. I do have a couple of other specimens from that toy line that I will show another time, because the human characters I actually put away. My floaty robot buddy collection is a thing. I think it's in the opening credits of this show, in fact. I do have a section of my display forever given over to floaty robot buddies from the black hole. So the Vincent on the left, that is my original. And I can tell you that because when I was probably about 8 or 9 years old, this was when we had those silverized paint pens hit the market. And I thought, ooh, I'm going to customize. And so on that Vincent on the left, you can see where I painted his screen silver. Whereas the one on the right, and I believe that one arrived with the Andrew Wester collection, that one is how he should originally look. I also remember taking some glow-in-the-dark paint to the slots along Vincent's midsection, where there were lights on the original prop. And I can't undo that, so very happy to have the better kept specimen. Now, here's the thing. Both of these actually have pieces broken off. You see those white dots in those recessed areas. Those were actually originally, they're supposed to be his guns, which in the original filming model were extrusions that extended from that rectangular recessed area. In the original Mego toy line, they were just kind of like white cylinders that stuck out of the figure, and they were always the first thing to break off. Now, the Maximilian back there is a very nice specimen. I will also confess that is not my original. That is one I procured much more recently, and he's in excellent shape. Nothing broken, nothing missing there. The arms are still chromed, that's kind of a difficult thing to find from a 1975 Maximilian, a 1979 Maximilian, more than 40 years later. It's difficult to find one in that good shape. Now, I will point out that the stands that you see the Vincent on the right and Maximilian using, those are not the stands that came with the figures. The figures did come with stands, and I have no idea what happened to the originals. These are fan-made aftermarket ones, really nice. They are etched, laser-cut acrylic, and these came from a seller on eBay, and who even took the time to etch the movie's logo into the stands. Very nicely done. I was hoping to find... I was willing to accept a a less good-looking 3D printed stand than that was what I expected to find. And then I found these instead, and it was like, oh wow, okay, so my old friends deserve nothing less. Now there was a third robot in the black hole, Old Bob, who was kind of an older model of a very similar form factor to Vincent. The American black hole figure line did not get Old Bob as a figure, but in Europe, they did get an Old Bob figure. And of course, trying to find one of those and import it, no, ain't gonna happen. So here's the thing. Around 1999 or so, which would have been the 20th anniversary of the black hole, a Japanese toy maker called Medicom introduced to their line of Kubrick's figures Vincent, Maximilian, and Old Bob. I was not able to procure Maximilian or Vincent, but I did go out of my way to finally get an Old Bob. He comes with a stand. The Kubrick's figures all had stands because these figures in the movie float off the ground, sometimes by visible piano wire, but it's implied that with all three of them, there is some anti-gravity technology at work. So the Kubricks had translucent stands like you see with Bob there that held them in mid-air to try to approximate that effect from the film. The Kubrick's Old Bob figure is beautifully detailed. It's wonderful. It's also slightly out of scale with Vincent there. The Old Bob is a slightly larger scale. So I have found that the Kubrick's Vincent and Bob pair well with figures approximately in the 5-inch range. The Maximilian Kubrick's figure, from what I've been able to judge from the photos, was not much bigger than the Mego figure that you see here. So, for a long time, these were the pride of my black hole collection. And then, to my amazement, in the 21st century, the hits just kept on coming. Okay, here we have a couple of oddball specimens. On the right, that is the Funko Pop of Vincent. Funko also did a pop of Maximilian, which I did not get because it looked ridiculous. Also, and I hate to trash Vincent here because I believe he was a gift from someone, and I try to tread carefully on that. Somebody obviously knew what I liked and was trying to meet me halfway with my fandom there. But the proportions on Funko Pops are just ridiculous to begin with, and the contrast looks even worse with something like Vincent here. And it's a great little Vincent body that Funko did there. The head just it just looks so silly. Almost as silly as the guy on the left. Was another gift from a friend of mine who picked it up at one of the Disney parks. I believe those are called Disney Vinylmations. And there are, any number of character skins that those come in, but this one just happened to be Vincent, and so that was gifted to me. You see, I like that. Unlike the Funko Pop where you have, they did a reasonably good job on the body and then stuck a ridiculous head on it. This one, okay, we're not even really trying to make it look, we're not even trying to match the shape. It's just we have the image of Vincent on there. It's kind of cute. I like that one. I like that one better than the Funko Pop, as strange as that may sound. And though the Funko Pops hit around, I'm going to say 2016 or so. I'm not sure of the vintage on the Vinylmation. I think it was given to me at around the same time. I think Papa Stu sent that to me from the old Digital Press forums, if I am not mistaken. And if I am mistaken, my apologies. Now, in 2019, Diamond Select, which has a long-running line of 7-inch scale figures, announced that they were adding the black hole robots to that line. So these are in scale. If you have any figures that are of a human height that are 7 inches tall, these are in that scale. And they had so many. Okay, I stand corrected. All right. So there were 2 packages that you could order direct from Diamond Select. One had Vincent and Bob. Bob is basically a very heavy accessory. His head turns. That's it. That's the only articulation on old Bob. Vincent, on the other hand, has panels that open, and you can swap out his, you have his claws and his guns there retracted. You could pull those off the figure and swap out, extended versions of those items. Extended versions of the legs are included. You can pull the lid off the top of his head like, he's surprised at something. And the detailing is under there, under his, kind of that hat. And it's a wonderfully detailed figure. But as cool as all the accessories are, I just love displaying him in his natural, native form there. That's how he appears for most of the movie. That's just how I like him. The other package, other than the Vincent and Bob 2-pack from Diamond Select, contained Maximilian. Obviously a much larger figure. I mean, he stands over 8 inches tall. This is really the Maximilian figure that gets it right. By the way, the glowing eye, that's me messing around with a laser pointer just for this video. I'm kind of stunned that I managed to shoot some video without my cats deciding that they do not fear Maximilian at all, because normally that laser pointer is just, it's like one of those laser gun sight things. It's, this is your next target. Obviously a much larger figure. All of Maximilian's arms, I mean, the armature rotates. Any of the arms can be extended. The drill arms, okay, so Maximilian really has one big gimmick in the movie, and that is extending these rotary cutting blades that will, cut through anything metal in his way. Spoiler, it might cut through any living tissue in his way as well. You have swappable drill arms, so the closed arms are on him right now, but there are also extended drill arms, and then there's also another set of extended drill arms with a spinning effect that's kind of cool. Maximilian also has a swappable head. This movie is over 40 years old, so I don't think I'm spoiling anything to say that there is a point in the movie where you look into Maximilian's head and there are inexplicably human eyes looking out of there back at you. I'm not going to give any more context than that for those who have not seen the movie, but there is a swappable Maximilian head that has the human eyes in it. That's not the one that I tend to display the figure with. And also, the legs on this Maximilian figure they do have a little bit of articulation to them, and that is something that none of the other Maximilian figures have. The flaps on the legs can be adjusted up or down. It's really cool. They thought of everything with that. And also, they got the paint job right. Maximilian is a very deep red. A he's not a bright cherry red like like the original Mego figure, which I'm sure that made it affordable, but no, just no. Okay, there's Maximilian with arms extended, and again, kind of low camera angle, enhancing this a bit there. He is a big fella. He's a big fella. He takes up some shelf space. Trust me on that. At around the same time that Diamond selected these, they also did Vincent and Maximilian as little vinyl figures. Vinimates, I think Diamond Select calls them. No articulation. These are just, if you were going to sit these guys on your desk or on your shelf and never touch them, and, oh, hey, look, it's the robots in the black hole, and you're not going to ever vary the display at all, these are your dudes. The stands are built in, they do not detach. There was a little background that came with them that looked like part of the Cygnus, the control panels of the Cygnus, and just nicely done if all you want is static models. I also need to point out, there was in 2009, there was a company called MindStyle that also did a vinyl figure of Vincent. They did two versions of it. One that was all in shades of blue. Weird flex, okay. Nothing in the movie even hints toward that. But also one in the original paint colors. Very nice figure. I missed it completely. It was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive in 2009. If you feel like increasing your blood pressure, go look the MindStyle Vincent up on eBay. And just scroll down till you see the prices on those. There's a reason I do not have one to show you. It's because I like food and shelter. But the story's not over there. In 2023, Super 7, makers of reaction figures, announced that they were adding the black hole robots to their reaction figures line with great packaging. That is epic packaging. Somebody totally understood the assignment here. And in our next video, we're going to open these guys up and see how they stack up to the original Mego figures, which is, they're kind of close in scale, but also not quite. More on that later.